Black American style has always had a profound meaning on white American culture. When they wouldn't allow us to drive, we taught ourselves how to walk in rhythm, and the world still held envy with the dexterity of our feet. When they wouldn't allow us to eat ham or bacon, we boiled chitlins, and it's now become a multi-generational Black American delicacy. When only given the rotten peaches from the harvest, we created peach cobblers. When only left with the scraps from the clothes that we had built, we created quilts to keep our babies warm at night. When they took away our rhythmic drums, we started to clap our hands and stomp our feet. We have proven that the Black American spirit will always prevail. We will always take exactly what we have to make exactly what we need. And that's why we need the confidence in ourselves and the knowledge to understand exactly who we are and who we aren't.
You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the Black people in this country are demanding, and even the Black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free, well then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country, well then stick to your word, and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man, you're a bird, you're afraid of us, you're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
In my mind.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this. Huh?
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No.
In your face all the time, they wanna take your place. The backstabbers.
can kill all the Black folks you want to, baby, but you will not kill the freedom of Black folks. It's coming. We're going to get it. We fought every one of your damn lousy wars, baby, and you give us nothing. Now the war is gonna be here, but we're gonna be free. Now you kill you want to, but we kill too.
Did you say nigga?
Is it noon? It ain't noon yet. So good morning still. We think we still got 6 minutes left in the morning before it's actually noon or afternoon, whatever you consider it. I just always try to be, right on that. I might not be right on much to some of y'all, but I'm going to be right on that. I know it's before noon right now, so I'm going to say good morning still. In a few minutes, I'll say good afternoon to anybody that I see come in. Much respect and love that everybody that came out to the Washtenaw County parades. Now, I know the Ann Arbor parade left a little bit on the table this year. The image of me on the screen right now, that's at the Ann Arbor 4th of July, Independence Day, whatever you want to call it. I didn't know the exact title, but that was at that parade. And I think there was probably like 17, 18 platforms that went through the parade. The people loved it. People that were there loved it. So I don't want to minimize it and make it seem like it wasn't anything. It was something. I think Ann Arbor could have did a little bit better. The main reason they had it at Briarwood, from what I was told, was because of all the construction going on downtown, and they just really couldn't get a good route together. So they decided to do it at Briarwood Circle, which I thought was a fabulous idea. If they could have packed 5,000-10,000 people in Briarwood Circle. I don't know how well it was advertised or anything like that. I was not a part of that part. But if they choose to do it there again or anywhere else, it should definitely be promoted a little bit better, because yesterday I actually drove that same vehicle, the 1978 Trans Am, in the Ypsilanti 4th of July parade. And that was off the hook. That parade was off the hook. Streets were lined with people, families, elderly people. You had babies out there, small children, teenagers. It was a great thing. And the one thing that I noticed was, obviously there was probably 3 times the participants in it, but it had to be near, I would say, 5,000 people. I would have to think somewhere between 3,000 to 5,000 people. I've heard hundreds, but there's no way there was hundreds. There was hundreds before we got into Depot Town. So I'm not sure exactly who does the gauging of that. You probably had a few hundred people who actually participated in the parade. And when they say hundreds, no, it was probably thousands. There's a couple thousand people out there. I wish they had an actual number that I could recite to you, but I don't, so it's no big deal. But anybody that's going to check this out on the Villager on Deck channel, appreciate you. If y'all still struggling over there at the Freedman Media channel, because I don't really pub it and I don't put stuff up there anymore, come on over to the Villager on Deck channel. Some of you are on the Personal and Freedman Media Facebook pages. But we're going to talk a little bit today, just basically about some things that, why I do what I do. I had some questions as to why I was doing what I was doing with the Juneteenth flag, and, why I was out on 4th of July. And I'm going to talk about all that stuff. I still have people that still question why I support Ken McGee for sheriff. And I'm going to answer some of those questions that I've already answered before, and the reasonings behind it, and really the reasons why I can't support any other candidate at this point. So, Brother Rob Allbanks, what's good with you? I appreciate you. I see you giving them that work online. If they didn't celebrate Juneteenth, they shouldn't be out celebrating the 4th of July. They definitely shouldn't. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing today. Because I've seen people really, really go hard for 4th of July where I didn't see them on Juneteenth. And I have a problem with that. I've got a real problem with that, because if you are what you would call an African American, I would call you an American freedman. Some of you may identify as an FBA or as a ADOS. I get it. But if you are any of those, if you identify as any of those, how come I didn't see you out on Juneteenth the way I just seen you out on 4th of July? And how come y'all wasn't doing your thizzle on Juneteenth the way y'all set off them fireworks yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before that? Y'all spent like thousands. Some of y'all spent thousands on fireworks this year. Don't say you got them at a low. I don't want to hear about you got the fireworks at a low, because ain't nothing at a low. It's 2023 post-COVID. Ain't nothing low right now. So if they out there celebrating 4th of July, but not out there celebrating Juneteenth, somebody needs to get popped. Okay? Somebody needs to get popped. Exactly, bro. Descendant Lair up in here. How you doing today, lady? I appreciate all of the support. People that have come over to the Villager on Deck platform on YouTube, please help me build this channel, because this channel is actually going to manifest into something even greater. We just know we can't really function. We can't really function at the Freedman Media channel anymore because of the way they were doing some things. I don't know exactly what it is. They might do it to the Villager on Deck. I'm actually set up other accounts with Rumble and all that, but haven't got that whole streaming platform together. But what we're trying to do out here is we're trying to push this into the next movement, the real movement, you know, that I don't think that I'll ever come off of, you know, probably until I expire, because my whole system has always been about building people. And, you know, I've tried to build individuals, I've tried to build teams, you know, and I've been moderately successful at all of it. But where I'm at now, you know, and I was just talking to a young lady last week, and we were talking about, we may have to go lower than the school age children. We might have to get back basically going into that 0 to 3 level, because by the time some of these school age children get up to that time frame, we are in a position of we're already behind the 8 ball, or we're disadvantaged in some way because of what they've been taught those first 4 or 5 years. It's crazy, brother. I've never seen fireworks the way I've seen fireworks this year. Well, maybe not seen, but heard. I heard fireworks displays for days and into the middle of the night. And, you know, now you're seeing all these fires. I done seen people's houses catch on fire, people's cars catch on fire, people been killed with fireworks. I'm like, what is the big idea now for doing it so big to where you killing each other? Where you burning your house down, where you setting your cars on fire, you know, and most of all, you putting kids in danger. You're putting kids in danger, and this is really supposed to be a kids thing. Fireworks supposed to be for the kids, but now I see these adults out here, and what I said it before, COVID set a lot of people back. COVID set a lot of people back to the point where adults are now acting like kids. Adults are now acting like kids. So, in talking with this young lady, we talked about going all the way back to that early age. And I ain't really, you know, I'm not talking strategy here, so I'm not really worried about nobody stealing this, because ain't nobody gonna steal this one. This is actually having to do some real work out here. We just ain't taking selfies and shit, right? We just ain't posting up, taking selfies and acting like we really doing some shit. We actually doing some shit. We're putting together a plan, because we've got to get back into people's hearts, back into people's homes, and we got to stay in these schools. Those of us who are in the schools got to stay, and then they got to bring the people that are really going to facilitate. See, I'm not talking recidivism. All right. I'm not talking recidivism. I'm not talking about helping folks after they committed a crime. I am still on that shit. I'm going to keep you from committing a crime. But see, everybody ain't there. And that's why I'm going to talk about why I do what I do and don't. So I did have a few questions, you know, from people that, you know, were rocking with me, and I'm gonna go on and come on up here. You know, I can come on up here. What's up, Lair? Lair got an actual profile pic in there now. I see you, Lair. I see, and hopefully the manifestation of your business is going well.
and you are still doing your thing. You stay on that. You stay on that till you see it through. Because see, whatever the obstacles are, it's not really an obstacle to keep you from doing business. It's just you just got to look at it as you running a business decathlon. That's what you're running. You're running a business decathlon. So I know people going to be like, what? What did he say?
Did you say nigga?
I know that's what y'all saying. Y'all always say that. And that's why I'm where I'm at. And that's why I want to talk about what I do and what I don't do. What I do and what I don't do are two different things, way different things. Okay. I'm not one of those people that fence straddles, because I know what fence straddling to. I'm too fat to fence straddle. You know, I got to be on one side. I got to be on the other. What'd you say there, brother? All the fireworks were purchased by hood folks because I could see where all the lights were coming from. And I was like, wow, white folks had them too, but our folks were in droves. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, dog. We had some of the best fireworks displays in the black neighborhoods, or predominantly black neighborhoods, than I had ever seen. I've heard about some of the fireworks displays. I've seen some of the fireworks displays, and I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, we really went all out for fireworks. Now, just think if we put that type of energy into skilled trades fairs. Just think if we put that type of energy into just standard reading, writing, and mathematic programs. You know what I'm saying? Just think if we put that type of energy and those type of resources into teaching our kids outside of the standard or traditional K through 12 system. Just think where we would be. All the money that was spent on fireworks, because y'all about to do some crazy shit for Labor Day too. I get it. Y'all do stuff for Memorial Day. You do stuff for the 4th of July. You do stuff for Labor Day. So I get it. Y'all gonna spend money. But how about spending money on a fruitful level? Something that you're going to be able to get back. You're going to get back a return on your investment. What return on your investment are you going to get with fireworks other than some laughs, some giggles, some screams, some hollers? You know, what you going to get? Some of y'all lost some fingers. Some of y'all lost some toes. Some people lost their lives, and I'm not making fun of that. Some people lost their homes, their cars, man. I'm just clicking in, and I didn't realize I was on the same. I'm trying to get them in real life too, bro. But in Alabama, it's like trying to fight elephants and tigers. Hey, you got to become an elephant trainer. You got to become a tiger tamer. Don't give up. Don't give up, because we really all they got. We really all kids got. It was so funny. I was talking to this young lady about doing something with the younger kids and the school age kids. Well, I was also talking to another, and what I found, every time I start speaking, I was always in front of somebody that wasn't really half my age, but they were like 10, 15 years, maybe 20 years younger. That young energy's got to come in. See, I've tried to talk to people my age, and they don't really get it. I've tried. So talking to younger people is really where I'm getting that vibe now, because the younger people have that energy to go forth, you know, and they also have the capabilities. You know, you really need physical energy, but they have that mental energy, and they're on that digital level. They're on the digital level. We're still on that analog level. A lot of old heads, as they call us, we still on that analog level. And even though the ones that have graduated and we've gotten onto the digital level, we still way behind a lot of these youngins, because that's all they've ever learned. That's all they've ever known is the digital level. They've never known the analog level. Yes, we can put things together a little bit more fruitfully and methodically because we were taught on the analog level, but they can put together things lightning fast. And I love it. I love the fact that young people can do what they do. I just want to see them do what they do fruitfully. What you say there, my wife and I sat at home and looked like, wow, and they still out here popping. Telling you, fireworks going out there. I heard my dogs bark several times because people lighting off fireworks for breakfast. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all couldn't get up, make no pancakes and grits and some eggs and some French toast and waffles. Y'all had to start lighting off fireworks at 9 o'clock in the morning. Really, that's what we doing in Washtenaw County? Okay, and now I'm hearing about it in Alabama too. So it's not just in Washtenaw County. It's not just in Michigan. It's in Alabama too, and every state in between. People are on a fool right now. People on a fool. Spend that money on something, like you said, something real, something tangible, something of substance. Absolutely. Absolutely, brother. That's the way I see it. I don't really have a whole lot else to say in this life anymore. I done said and done so much out here. Everything that I push towards now is got to be for the betterment of our people, you know, and I start with our people as far as American freedmen go. Am I going to turn away a Latino kid? No. Am I going to turn away an Asian kid? No. Well, the way them Asian people did us in affirmative action, we should rethink that, but I'm just kidding. But am I going to turn away a white kid? No. I'm not going to turn away no kid, but I'm going to have to look out for black children first because I'm a black man. And I was a black child and I have black children. I have black grandchildren now. So I've got to look out for my own first. And I would expect anybody else to do the same as I've seen them do the same. You ain't gonna never find white folks helping out black kids before they help out white kids. You ain't gonna never find Latino folks helping out black kids before they help out Latino kids. You ain't gonna never find Asian people helping out black kids before they help out Asian kids. It doesn't happen. Arabic people, you ain't gonna find them helping out nobody before they take care of the whole Arabic community. Nobody. I'm talking about nobody. Nobody. I'm trying to tell you. Okay. So it is what it is. It's always got to be us first. If here's the thing, how do we build unity if we don't build with us first? We can't go out and find a leg from another ethnicity, from another race, another whatever y'all want to call it. We can't go out and find a leg for our table for that. If all 4 legs on the table ain't us, they ain't even equal. They ain't even. You're going to have that table that's kind of wobbly. You got 3 black legs and 1 Latino leg. I'm not saying that the table can't stand, but how does it stand even? And that's for a whole different day. But it's kind of why I do what I do and don't. And it's kind of why I say what I say and don't say. See, some people want me to speak a certain way and I get it. Some people want me to work a certain way and I get it. But those ways don't always work when you're trying to work for the collective. If I'm trying to work individually, then I can get with somebody, you know, some of these people be talking out here. But I'm trying to work for the collective. And I'm not trying to turn nobody away. I ain't trying to marginalize nobody, especially if they ain't trying to marginalize me. See, I have to take every case as a case-by-case scenario nowadays. That's the way I take every case. I don't just blanket everything. I've done that in the past. I've blanketed a lot of stuff before. And then you lose a lot of things. What they say, you throw the baby out with the bathwater. I've done that many a times. I will not argue that fact. I have absolutely thrown I done thrown many babies out and many tubs of water simply because I was like, you know what, fuck them. I don't want to deal with that at all. And there might have been some good things that I might have been able to pull from it, but because I got upset at the whole situation, I'd say, you know what, it's all gone. And then you end up finding yourself starting over with some people that are going to work with the right mission. Everyone else has to help their people first. It's understood, and we got it. Absolutely. I'm trying to tell you, bro. I'm trying to tell you, you need to be up on the stream. Don't make me throw you the link so you be right here up with me talking on the stream. We don't need to be typing. You need to be people need to be hearing your words on that. People need to be hearing your words on that. Just like more people need to hear whether I say it or anybody else says it. We have to build with us first. But we can't shun other people because they're different than us, but we've got to build unity here first. If we don't build unity here, and I'm only building with people that are really looking to build. I'm not looking to build with people for clout. All right. I'm not looking to build with people because they juiced in with certain situations. You know what I'm saying? I know what I bring to the table, and I'm bringing a table. That's the crazy thing. When I come to the table, I'm bringing a table because I don't like to be crowded. I like to sit at my own table, but I'll let other people sit at my table. I just don't like to be in a crowd. I'm not going to bring myself and 3 other people to an already occupied table. No, let me go ahead and bring my own table. Let's add it on. You know, let's add it on. Let's like them little pieces they used to have in your dining room table back in the day, and them leaves, what they call them leaves. They used to put the leaf in. Let's extend the table. Let's extend the table. But see, some people don't want to extend the table because they know the more people that sit at that table, the weaker they become at the table. That's why I'm not up on that only Negro in the room thing. I can't get with that only Negro in the room thing. And y'all know I say the other thing a lot of times, but I'm not going to say that right now because I know we got company. We keep company, but we got company today. And I'm trying to get something else accomplished. So, you know, but yeah, being the only Negro in the room, that kills us too. Because if you ain't trying to get more Negroes in the room, That's hurting us. And if you're the only Negro in the room, you at a minority. You are a minority, and you let them call you minority. When they get to talking about black folks, and they be like, and the minorities, and you got to just sit there and nod with the apple in your mouth. See, I see what y'all be doing when y'all be doing that only Negro in the room thing. Y'all be sitting there quiet. I know why you're quiet now, because you got an apple in your mouth. You got an apple in your mouth. That's what it is. I lost my bed there. Let me get that bed back. Maybe I didn't loop it. I need to loop it. Let's loop that. All right, let's run that. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. I like that one right there. Facts plus tax. Absolutely. Put the juice on it. But yeah, I am looked at, and I am a self-anointed contrarian. Absolutely. I am a self-anointed contrarian. And when people saw me rolling on, what was it, Sunday? When they saw me rolling in that old Trans Am, and with McGee for sheriff plastered on all four sides of it, they saw me with the Juneteenth flags. They saw me with the Juneteenth flags. They saw that. They saw that. Some people saw the video that I did explaining, why I was out on the 4th of July with the Juneteenth flag. I was asked, they thought I didn't really celebrate the 4th of July, but it ain't about celebrating 4th of July. It's about celebrating the freedom of my people. And that happened on June 19th, in theory. We use that date as in theory. That happened on June 19th, but why shouldn't I be celebrating from June 19th all the way through July 4th? Because I know in 1776, we were still in bondage for another 89 years, but I should be celebrating at this point because I am free now. And I should be celebrating those dates in 2023. I might not have been able to celebrate them in 1776 all the way to 1865. But at this point right now, I can do work out here. I ain't got to be lighting off fireworks, okay? I ain't got to be challenging my fingers and my toes, possibly putting my vehicles and my home at risk. I ain't got to be doing all that to prove that I am a patriot. I am as American as you gonna get. Any American freedman out here is an American as he gonna get, because President Lincoln, who really didn't like black folks, y'all know this, he said if it hadn't been for us, this country wouldn't have been saved. And I don't know why people aren't taught that in school. I don't know why it took me to get into my 40s to even hear that. But he said if the American freedmen had not fought in the war, we wouldn't be who we are. And white kids are not taught that about Honest Abe, okay? They're not taught that about Honest Abe. They taught about Honest Abe on the money. They taught about him, being the 16th president. They taught about that hat. They taught more about who killed Honest Abe than the fact that Honest Abe not only freed us, but he let people know if it hadn't have been for them, we wouldn't be who we are. So we don't. So the sheriff candidate that I am supporting here is not a brother as far as pigmentation goes, okay? He's not an American freedman. Currently, there is one in office, and he's been in office for about 14, 15 years, and we can talk a lot about this offline because I'd really like to see some of the things. I need to dig into where you at and see some of the things that brother that y'all got in play down there, what he's doing, because what's happened up here is this sheriff got in under the Obama guys. He got in under the Obama guys. When it was real popular to bring in black politicians, that's when he ran. He ran in 2008. He got elected, and his whole administration started in 2009. So his situation kind of mirrored Barack Obama. He even runs a thing around here called My Brother's Keeper, which is the Barack Obama program. And, he did a lot of stuff that a lot of black politicians, elected, appointed officials, whatever, started to do to follow Barry. And Barry put a lot of stuff in play, but didn't have no meat in it, okay? He had, Barry put a lot of stuff out here, but didn't put no meat in these programs. And so it left it up to these people to do a lot of the stuff on their own. Yeah, it's backed, it's endorsed, da-da-dee-da-da-da by Barry, but I don't even know if he even funneled monetary resources to any of these programs, because what I've seen around here with the local My Brother's Keeper program has been a lot of miscues and mishits. Okay. And it's not to shit on the kids and the youngs that have tried to participate in these programs, because it's never their fault. It's the people's fault who put these programs together. you know, because if you're not putting the program together with the right seeds, you are not going to bear fruitful plants. Okay, that's just the way that is. Excuse me. So the individual that I am supporting for sheriff, McGee for sheriff, and I'm gonna actually put his website in the chat, Brother Rob, and I want you to check him out. He's as thorough as it gets. And please don't take please don't be offended at his opening photo on the website, because it is with Barry, but it was when he was in an elevated position. It was when he was in an elevated position and he had to do like a detail and stuff for Obama and them and all that. And I got all that. I totally understood it. But, you know, some people like to shit on him with the fact that he took a picture with Barack Obama. But look, at that time, everybody would have took a picture with Barack Obama. Barack Obama had everybody fooled. Barack Obama had everybody fooled. Barack Obama, and for still a lot of white folks, Barack Obama still is the creme de la creme. Okay? When it comes to presidents, a lot of people look at Barack Obama as the creme de la creme. I get that. I totally get that. Okay, I'm gonna check it out. Jefferson County. Okay, I know Jefferson County. I'm gonna check it out because this brother Ken McGee, and when I call him brother because I've known him for several years now, and we done broke bread, and we done pretty much talked about everything up underneath the sun. You know, he gets it. And I think he gets it because of not only where he's from, which is right here, which is a beautiful thing. Oh, Obama. So you got some lyrics. You got some lyrics, Brother Rob. He said Obama. When you rooted somewhere, it helps you think about what you're trying to do if you're trying to work in that area. And the one thing that I learned, that I knew about the former sheriff, he'd been around here for a long time. I coached football with him back in the 90s, coached his son in junior football in the early 2000s. I've known who he was and who he is for a long time. And personally, I didn't like him before he became sheriff. So when people think that I just don't like him, I definitely don't like his policing. But I didn't really like him as an individual before he became sheriff. And I've expressed that to people who I've engaged with in conversation. I don't like him as an individual. I don't like what he stands for. And if I don't like what you stand for, I'm just not going to like you. I'm not going to like any mission that you're a part of if I don't like what you stand for, because if I know you raggedy, if I know you out here doing some things that you shouldn't be doing, anything that's going to be connected to you is going to be tied to that. You can't be on one side doing some great things and then over here doing some greasy shit. Not in my book. You just can't do that, you know. And I'm not saying that a person has to do that. Got to be a eunuch. I'm not saying that, you know, you've got to be a monk. You got to be some, you know, some just you're just nothing. You just pure. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if I know you wrong, you really can't do no right. Not in my eyes, you know, not in my eyes. What'd you say there, Brother Rob? I understand we're going to have to work with others, but as long as they are on code, then I can work. But if they trash, I got to stand. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing was I was actually introduced to this individual by someone who I've known for 40 plus years. So when this person comes to me with another individual, he know I don't do the real new friends thing. I'm not big on new friends. I'm not big on new people in my circle, because just of what I've gone through, not only in this territory, but in life, I don't really bring on a whole lot of new people. You know, you might see me around with the same people, or you might see me around with no people. It depends on what my mood is. You know what I'm saying? And I don't switch friends out. I don't do a lot of that, but I'm not going to do a lot of hot and cold, and I'm not going to do no fence straddling with you. But when this person was brought to me, this individual was brought to me by a real solid individual, somebody who I would have trusted with my life, or will trust with my life, trust with my grandkids' life. When he brought this individual to me, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. When he brought this individual to me, and we talked and we broke bread, and I heard what he really had to say, he wasn't just campaigning right then. You know, he wasn't campaigning. I was just really trying to just kick it with him and just learn who he really was. And it was a beautiful thing to really learn that he was just a straight individual, you know. And through the course of the years, we've had some debates and disagreements and this, that, and the other. But the thing is, when you coming from the same vein, you might not agree on everything, but you can at least stay in pocket with one another because you know neither one of you want no goofy shit. So it's not only not just a misunderstanding, you might be understanding perfectly what it is. What it is a situation where he's got a certain ideology on one thing, you got a certain ideology on another thing. Doesn't make you two enemies, and it doesn't make you not of the same type thinking, you know, mindset. But you know, he's a cool cat who really, and I'm really trying to help him out with this because I know he feels, you know, that he's got to overcome a couple situations dealing with the people that he's opposing. But it ain't about, you know, you ain't got to ingratiate into the Black community. I don't anticipate him trying to learn all the handshakes and the toe taps and the this, that, and the other, like I've seen other politicians do. Some politicians try to really ingratiate themselves into your community. And they be in there trying to do the handshakes and, you know, and singing and dancing and things like that. And hey, y'all do what y'all do. If that's the way y'all got to grift into the situation. But the way I would want him and the way I advise him, if you're dealing with my folks, you know what I'm saying? If you're dealing with my folks, I've always just tried to tell him, like, just be real, dog. Just be real. Just be who you are. You know, they not gonna even look at you like I look at you because they're not gonna get to know you like that, the way I've gotten to know you like that. You know, so where I may say, hey fam, I may say, hey bro, I may something like, you're not gonna get that from the quintessential Black person. I've tried to at least play that into him so he understands, you know, because you're here for a message, you're here for a mission. You know, you got some things that you want to do and you need to get those messages across. This ain't about you, you know, broing it up and all that shit. It ain't about that. And it ain't never going to be about that. They're probably never going to accept you that way anyway. So you really need not try. And I've seen politicians do that. I've seen politicians really try. I mean, anytime you see a white politician go to a Black church, what's the first thing you do? You see him up there clapping on 1 and 3. You see him clapping on 1 and 3 in the middle of a church service. White politicians is good for that. Black politicians is bad enough with it, but white politicians is good for that. That's the way they think that they can show Black people that they really support them. Let me get up in these churches. We're going to drop a little offering money on them, drop a little campaign money off in the coffer, and let me get up in here and clap on 1 and 3. And they feel like they got us because they up in our church houses, they up in our school houses, they at our picnics, you know, they at our parks, and they come in and they chill, you know. And after eating all the macaroni and cheese and all the collard greens and all the chicken and everything like that, y'all get them nice and plump to go back to where they really gonna get their votes at. They coming to get your vote, but they really gonna go get their votes at with full bellies and empty consciences. I'm telling you, they do not think about you after they go back to where they gonna get that real bread at. They appreciate your macaroni and cheese, but they're gonna go back over here to Bob, who's about to put $10,000 in their campaign. That's what they do. Strategically, you know, you can only do so much, you know. We won't get into that either. Yeah, churches are trips. Churches are trips. And I've chosen recently to get involved dealing with a pastor who's got a nonprofit because we've had flat out man-to-man discussion, and he understands my mission. He understands my goals. I see what he's trying to do, and we're trying to make that all happen. And truthfully, it's with the great assistance of Younger Energy. It's with the great assistance of Younger Energy. He older than I am, and I'm older than the youngins are. So my thing is, we've got to go get that young energy to really help these things push through. You know, I mean, if you got somebody with the resources and somebody with the ideas, all you really need is somebody with the energy. And when you got somebody with the energy, you do the right things, you can get stuff done out here. But a lot of people ain't really into that. They ain't looking to get stuff done. They looking to make it look good. They looking to make it feel good, sound good, smell good, but not be good. Perfect example, Black pastor inviting the white man on the podium, and everyone knows this man is a shinty individual. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, shiesty individual. I was gonna go with Shinty. I thought that was just another one of your lyrics. I was gonna go with Shinty. You meant shiesty. I got you. Oh yeah, we got some content, brother. We got some content. Like I said, I'll throw this link at you here. And if you want to come up, you can come up. I'm just in here cooking right now, just based on what I'm trying to get to as far as why I do what I do and don't. The main thing was about getting out to support Ken McGee for sheriff. Seeing that it was the 4th of July, I figure I would go and kill two birds with one stone, not only support him on 4th of July, this would also give me the opportunity to reach out on people that most weren't. I have to be honest with you. People saw those freedom flags, the Juneteenth flag that I'm holding up. I had some miniature Juneteenth flags that I was giving out. You know, I had some miniature Juneteenth flags that I was giving out. And when I was giving those flags out, I gave them out to young kids, and they was kind of looking at it because everybody was passing out the American flag, right? It's the 4th of July parade. So everybody's passing out the American flag. I get it. But when you passing out the American flag, you know, and I just coming off the whole Juneteenth situation, I'm thinking to myself, okay, but Juneteenth really ain't ended for me, just the date bypassed. But what happened was I said, okay, if I'm going to drive in this parade, that means I'm going to pass a bunch of people. If I pass a bunch of people, I might as well talk to the people about the freedom flag. You know, I stood outside the car with the flag. People asked me what the flag was then. It's all good. I appreciate those questions, and I'll give them those answers, because I'm not going to hide that flag because it's not Juneteenth anymore calendar-wise, because truthfully, every day is Juneteenth. Every day we should be celebrating our freedom. On June 19th, we can commemorate that day, but we need to be celebrating our freedom. Now, I've also got a little hot under the collar. What's up, Free? I got a little hot under the collar when I heard that they're now calling Juneteenth the second Independence Day. Why has it got to be the second Independence Day? It's really not our second Independence Day. So why has it got to be the second Independence Day? I've seen that. I was on Google, and it literally it's being looked at as the second Independence Day. Why is it being looked at as the second Independence Day? You know, it shouldn't be looked at as the second anything. Bet it up. Appreciate you, Free, coming in with the hashtag. Appreciate you. Yeah, we've been in here for a minute. I wasn't too spontaneous. I mean, I gave it a little bit of a billboard, but I just decided just to kind of get in here because instead of trying to answer questions online and why did you do this or why did you do that, I'm just going to make a live. There's no point in me trying to answer each question individually. And if anybody wants to get in the comment section on any of this, the pages that I shared this video to, I have no problem with answering them then. But what I'm going to tell them most is go back and watch the video. Because why I do what I do is very simple. I get that most of these political races, especially local political races, a lot of times are always a popularity contest. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. It's a popularity contest in a lot of the local elections. And when you start getting politicians cluster up and they start trying to build their numbers and then they're trying to pump up one candidate, it makes it very difficult for somebody who's running as a outsider, right, to overcome that. And the best way to overcome any of this madness out here, the best way I see for people to be able to overcome any of it is to always be more substantive than the person who's not. Because that's what's happening right now. People right now are leaning towards one candidate because he's already working for the sheriff's office. I get that. You know, he's as close to the incumbent. If he were to run, he's as close to him as you're going to get. I mean, they thick as thieves. They really buddies. They like really buddies, and they've done a lot of dirt around the county, you know, that I could prove. And this is why I don't think they've ever messed with me like online. You know, I mean, I know some of the debaucherous shit that they've done around the county. Hell, I know some of the women that they've done it with. So it's just a matter of, I don't really talk about a lot of that stuff all the time because that really doesn't do anything for me. But when it comes out, when they want to throw shots, you know, they ain't got to throw shots. They ain't got to throw shots. But if they're going to throw shots, they understand I'm armed too. But I just, you know, I don't really need to use that type of stuff where a lot of this is concerned. But what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to help build up a brother who's running for sheriff, and he's running with a great history of law enforcement. You know, I mean, at his back, he's really an executive police, and he's been boots on the ground on every level. But see, what they really don't understand is the fact that he's from here, and he's seen what's happened here over not only just the last 15 years, but he's seen what's happened far before that. He's seen the sheriffs who looked like him, but he didn't agree with how they practice police. And then he's seen the practice of policing over these last 15 years, and that's where he's really been steadfast. And he's actually ran a couple times before, but he's been hamstrung by some things. But I think at this point right now, it's about as even as it's ever going to get. And for him to be able to get out here and to be able to work with the community. I mean, I saw him talk to some powerful people in Washtenaw County yesterday, and that was a good thing. You know, I've seen him talking to our Congress people. That's a good thing, that represent our area, you know, and I know that a lot of them are locked in already kind of with the current leading candidate, is what they want to call him. But a lot of the things they don't know. And a lot of those things have to come out, and they don't necessarily have to come out from him, but they have to learn them. And that's why, you know, kind of in play, because I'm going to continue to meet these type of people. And I really want to know why people support individuals like this, especially if you really don't know him. Are you supporting him because he's just a part of the Democratic Party wheel, or are you supporting him because you believe he's the best candidate? And I know once I put one person's experience up against another person's experience, one person's capabilities up against another person's capabilities, it's hands down landslide. But we haven't done that yet. But I definitely plan to, in hopes of being able to get all three sheriff candidates on a debate. And I would love to see all three candidates be able to answer the same exact questions. And so people won't think that I'm being partial. I'm not going to compose the questions. We are going to let the public at large compose the questions if we're able to pull the debate off. If we're able to pull the debate off, I would love for the public to pose all of the questions, because everybody knows who I'm supporting and I know who other people are supporting. So it shouldn't be any type of individual that already has a slant towards one candidate or the other. So I'm looking forward to sending that message out real soon to all three candidates, and to get them in a debate about policing, a debate about the upcoming primary in 24. It's well over a year away, but that's okay. We need to start now, because, hey, it'd be great to have a debate now, a debate somewhere near the end of the year, and then a debate maybe in the spring, so people can see how people have grown within the political process. Appreciate you, Free. So yeah, but you know, I supported Ken and will support Ken, but I supported him in this parade because I just felt like, you know, he needs to be able to get out here where he hasn't been able to get out. Last election, we were in the midst of COVID. So you really couldn't get out. And I mean, he was passing out lollipops and cards and all kinds. You couldn't even get close to people. Last time it was a campaign run, right? And then the previous campaign run, you know, it had all types of snags in the garment, and things never really got off the ground the way they needed to. But that's okay, because at this point, he knows what he needs to do and he knows what he doesn't have to do. So running against not only the person who's close to the current sheriff, but the new candidate as well. He kind of knows the lay of the land. So getting out here in these type of environments, talking to people and hearing people's concerns. He is a anti-opioids advocate, a fighter of it. Has had family members succumb to it. So he's really into that fight. And it's not just on the white side. I know a lot of people are, where was he when the crack and the heroin? Look, let me tell you, when you start asking the questions, if you're going to ask the questions, you're going to get the answers. See, a lot of people might know about the cops that's been around here. Y'all might know about LawNet in Washtenaw County. But, we're talking about a DEA agent. We're talking about somebody that wasn't trying to crack on corner boys. He wasn't even trying to get the local kingpin. He was trying to stop the shit from coming in to the shores of America. See, this is where you have people that don't really know who he is and what he's done. He wasn't trying to crack on your uncle. He wasn't trying to crack on your brother. He wasn't trying to crack on your son. No, he was trying to stop the shit from coming over here in the first place. And a lot of people just don't know that. So that's why I support people like this. This is why I support individuals who understand. It just ain't about fishing. You can go out and fish and catch fish all day, but he was catching the big fish. Now, how much it truly helped stop, slow down, whatever, those are all in statistical books at this point, but I know where his fight in policing has been. And I know what his goals in policing have been. And, it doesn't benefit him one bit to run up on somebody who's out here, peddling a package, just trying to feed his family. Although he might not agree with it. I mean, really, are you really trying to take this guy down? Or are you trying to take the motherfucker who brought it into the country down? Because that goes to some different areas than just the corners. And just the trap houses. And just this, some of y'all houses, you know what I'm saying? Some trap houses is flat out single family dwellings and whatnot. Dope houses ain't what they used to be, where it's just, that's all they do up in there. Sometimes it's just the house where everybody lives, and I'm still doing my thing up out of here. Things are totally different than what they used to be. But speaking of things being totally different, man, the cannabis industry, I've been watching a lot of stuff on that, man. Michigan is in a big hurt. Not so much the people that are selling it, but where this money is gone, it's not really helped anybody on the ground the way they said it was. I mean, just like casinos, just like the lotteries, the cannabis business now, and it seems like every program that they want to try to subsidize black plight with, they want to say, oh, it's going to come from the revenue from cannabis. Why y'all got to use weed money to try to fix black people? What's up with that? Why y'all trying to fix black folks with weed money? I don't even like the connotation. There's some programs and different things that you got to do out here. Do that regardless of whether you getting the cannabis money or not. But when they say they're going to do a program and it's going to help some black folks, but then they're going to use the cannabis revenue, I'm like, really? That's what y'all thinking about? Y'all thinking about getting the cannabis money in here, and this is going to help people that are already marginalized. Hell, what if it's a person that was wrongfully convicted because of cannabis? Do they get a little bit more? Is that what you're saying? I don't think so, but it is what it is. So looking at oh, you late, Free, so you missed the intro. I did a little thing for the intro. I just did the audio. I didn't actually put the video up because it's just really kind of a still type video. But yeah, I put a little something together, and that was the intro. But yeah, when I decided to do this, I was like, it's going to give me an opportunity to get out, support him, but it's also going to give me an opportunity to get out and really see the climate of people, like how people are relating to one another. And in Ann Arbor, you know, it was definitely a smaller collective of individuals, but I saw all ethnicities out there. You know, even with the rain, you know, I saw all ethnicities out there. You know, a lot of families and groups that I saw, you know, just hanging out, having as good of a time as they could, because we were really all waiting for that rain to come. And the rain really held off until right at the end, which was a good thing. But it was just good to see folks together and see them out without mask on, you know, seeing kids without mask on and seeing people vibe with one another. So that was good. But I tell you, yesterday's parade, I got to give it to Ypsilanti on this. I don't know how this parade is so much bigger than Ann Arbor's parade. But when you look at Ypsilanti being basically 1/5 of the size of Ann Arbor, and now I know you can throw in the township and you can get the numbers closer, but the city, because it goes right, you know, right through the heart of, you know, like the college district down in Depot Town, the people that came out, I'm sure they all weren't actually from Ann Arbor either. I did see Ann Arbor residents out there. So where was y'all at the Ann Arbor parade too? But anyways, people that were out there, I saw a lot of togetherness. I did. And I know I was rolling by 8 to 10 miles an hour in a car, so I didn't stop to see a lot of stuff. But before the parade started, we got out and we were able to talk to people, you know, and just build with different people. Shout out to my brother, Jeff Mangrum. You know, his Boy Scout troop was I think they were right in front of us. They ended up being right in front of us. And shout out to Sharshi Beauty Supply. We already talked about getting back on, you know, I interviewed her when she was actually out in on Rosenville on the service drive there, but that mall is gone. I don't know if they've torn it down yet, but that mall is gone and she's moved. She's got a new location. So I definitely want to help her build her business a little bit, getting her back on, talk about her new products and things that she's looking to do in the future. And then really what she went through with having to basically shut everything down and then get it back started. I think she did some stuff online for a minute and then she got her brick and mortar back. So it's good to see her really doing her thing. Talked to a young brother that was working with her. We're going to build and do some things, you know, with the kids out here. I told him, yeah, I think he kind of knew who I was, I believe. And then we kind of built just walking in the parade. You know, I was driving, he's walking. We exchanged numbers just right there, you know, in the middle of the field. So it was a good thing. But you know, he's young. He's got that energy. He's got what I need for people to be out here if they're on the right shit, you know, to be able to work with. Because if you're not really in the right vein, I'm not going to mess with you anyway. But I like the way he came at me, you know, when I was talking to Shar, I like the way he came at me. I always call her Shar. I know that the business was named after her auntie and her mom, if I'm not mistaken. But it was just good to be able to build with them, you know, and to see young brothers out really trying to do positive stuff, you know, before they get in trouble and they're trying to keep from going back. It's a good thing too. Because there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong to keep from trying to, you know, having to correct those mistakes. But when you ain't making those mistakes and you ain't made those mistakes and you got that mindset, that's a good thing for me. That's definitely a good thing for me. So, you know, rolling in the parade, you know, and seeing the young kids, you know, passing those flags out. And it was beautiful to see, you know, the parents that were even pushing their kids to come out and grab a flag. When I tell them what it was a freedom flag, a lot of the parents were endorsing that, you know. And like I said, I know it was different. I mean, you know, Kenny's got his red, white, and blue all over the car. But I got my Juneteenth flags hanging in the car. You know what I'm saying? He's got his American stuff in the front and the back. And I've got my Juneteenth flags hanging in the car. You know, I had my big 3x5 flag out before the parade started. So, you know, it wasn't a situation that I was doing something to slight America. If anything, I'm now enhancing that American flag when I do what I do there. When I do what I do there, I'm still promoting the red, white, and blue, but I'm promoting it from the stance of an American freedman. I'm promoting it from the stance of a descendant of an enslaved individual in this country. So it was definitely no slight, and I don't think anybody takes any slight to it. Some people might not understand, but that's okay. I'm good with that. I'm good with people not understanding. I'm used to people not understanding me, and I'm done trying to make people understand me. If you ain't with it, you ain't with it. If you with it, then you'll understand me. But if you ain't with it, look, we just gonna keep it pushing at this point. We just gonna keep it pushing. So we doing some things out here. Give me one quick second. All right, I had to pause that for a second. What we got there? Well, yeah, getting out and vibing and seeing the people, and I really tried to engage a little bit more, obviously, at Ipsy's parade than I even could in Ann Arbor. Ann Arbor, most people were on one side of the street, so that was easy to kind of just work with one side of the crowd. But then two, there were so many more people and there were so many more opportunities to pass off. I think I passed out maybe 40, 50 flags, easy. It was crazy because I did get to a situation. Where, I had a young kid, who walked up to the vehicle, to the Trans Am, and it was not purposely done at all. I just gave the flags out, and my hand was empty, and it was a little white kid, and look, he looked so disappointed because I didn't have a flag in my hand. I was like, "Here, hold on a second." I stopped, and the flag that you see that's on the car, I believe I ended up giving him that one. I believe I gave him that one, but I grabbed one real quick just to make sure that I didn't send him away disappointed because, of course I was giving them out to the black kids, and I ended up giving several freedom flags out to non-black kids, whether they were Asian, or whether they were Latino, whether they were Caucasian. I gave them out. And I said, have your mom or dad say it. I believe it's even in one of the videos that I did, or it said, have them tell you about that date. All they got to do is Google June 19th. They can Google June 19th, 1865, sit there and read it for themselves, and then they can go back and articulate it to their kids. I didn't have time to be able to break that ism down to them because I'm rolling through the parade. If I had a platform to be able to stand there and teach them what Juneteenth was about, I'd have been able to do that. But I was really just giving them the flag, saluting them, honking the horn, and keeping them moving. It's all good. I didn't have no problem with that either. I didn't have no problem with that. And I'll never have any problem with that because that's my opportunity to be able to engage right on the fly, and I'm outside of my normal self in those situations. I generally don't talk to people like that I don't know in those settings. I mean, as gregarious of a person as I am, I still don't just talk to everybody. I'm capable, but I just don't talk to everybody because, everybody ain't really feeling what I'm saying. And I'm really not feeling what everybody else is saying. So, if we can build, that's one thing. But as far as debating out here about what, the freedom flag is about, the American flag is about, and who's disrespect, well, we don't get in those debates no more. I ain't Colin Kaepernick. I'm not going to take a knee. Okay. I'm not going to take a knee. And you're probably going to get cussed out if you're trying to come at me the wrong way anyway. So it's all good. But I learned a lot. I saw a lot, I'm learning that it's funny because I'm not running, but I'm seeing how Kenny is treated by some of the political people around the county, because they kind of locked in, like I said, with the current candidate that's working for the sheriff's department. So they really don't show him the love or give him the light. They really don't give him the light. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate because that means that they are hemmed in based on popularity. That's what they're hemmed in on. They're not hemmed in because they believe that the other person is a better candidate. and he's a better fit for this county because they know he's not. They're hemmed in because, you know, they're a part of that Washtenaw County Democratic Party wheel. And when you're part of the Washtenaw County Democratic Party wheel, you're generally just going to go with what you know. And it was great to see the Washtenaw County Democratic Party actually break bread with Kenny both days. And he caught some love from some people that I didn't really think. I thought they were more of conservative spirit, or definitely would be more of, you know, lockstep with, you know, the get along gang, the dream teams and whatnot around here. They actually were really rocking with him. So that was a good thing to see too. And this is why I will continue to support him. I mean, I will continue to do what I do as far as, you know, the right thing, because the right thing is not to support somebody who, you know, is not for all the good things. If they're for bad things, if they're putting bad systems together, I can't work with you. And I'm not going to cater to you in any way. I don't owe anybody anything in this situation. I mean, so all I'm looking for somebody is to be straight out here. I'm looking for someone to be straight out here. And if they're straight, then I'll work with them. But if they're not straight, if you doing greasy shit behind the scenes, what happens when you become the sheriff? What happens when you become the sheriff? If I've known you to do greasy stuff and you ain't had that type of elevation, if you ain't had that type of power, you've just had access to resources. No, if you've done greasy shit out here like that, why would I want you to be elevated to be the top cop in the county? That's crazy. That makes no sense. Why would I want that? Why would I even think that that would be beneficial in any way? But it is what it is. Because people are going to think what they're going to think. And I get that. I totally get that. People are going to think what they're going to think. And some people are going to vote for him because he's black. Then there's going to be people that's going to vote for Kenny because he's white. But, you know, there's another candidate who I'm really not going to talk about a whole lot, because I don't have a whole lot of bad stuff to say about the third candidate that's in the race. You know, I don't have negative things to say. So I'm not going to work on that situation. But who I really feel like he's up against right now, I feel like he's up against the actual wheel of the Democratic Party. And I believe the Democratic Party in some way, shape, or form, I believe they also support the other candidate. And it's just based on them being staunch Democrats. I get it. You know, I totally get that. So that's not a big issue. That's not a big issue. And they show up at all the Democratic Party functions, so they know who they are. I get that. Appreciate it, Free. So, you know, just working through this thing, you know, a little bit over an hour at this point right now. It makes sense when you're dirty. Yeah. And just telling the lies to the people on whatever level, telling the lies, that's got to end. You know, you got to call it what it is. You got to call these situations what it is and what they are. And I know some people don't like to do that. They don't like to do that based on, give me 1 second, they don't like to do that based on familiarity, you know, because I know if somebody starts talking in the middle of a hub where this guy has numbers, I don't need to be circumspect. Derek Jackson is his name, where Derek Jackson has numbers. If Derek Jackson has numbers, then people are going to be in a different space, right? They're going to be in a different space with Derek Jackson, and, you know, so if he's got numbers in that space, it's difficult to break away from that. If everybody's voting for Derek Jackson, how do you go vote for somebody else? How do you do that? He has history with the Democratic Party here, and they tend to be a close-knit group who looks at me as an outsider when, in fact, much of my platform is more progressive than my opponents. Yeah. And then this is the person that I'm actually sitting in that car. That's his car. He's running for sheriff. And these are things, obviously, you and I have talked about, and it's a great point. You know, I know that they view you as an outsider. You know, you're not locked in with the Democratic Party, even though you vote democratically. You have campaign democratically, they look at you as an outsider, because not only is he a Democrat, but he's worked for the party itself. He's worked directly with the current sheriff's campaigns. See, they're doing a lot of stuff to pass the baton. They think it's probably going to be the easiest fit. And because he's been a prominent face in the community, this is for folks, obviously, who don't know, because he's been a part of a lot of social justice stuff that's been out here. It hasn't really done a lot. But as far as just having his face on things, because he's been the community engagement officer, he was put in charge of the Barack Obama inspired My Brother's Keeper, and to get that rolling. And it's funny to me that you put somebody who in charge of that just based on the fact that he's got a few 3-on-3 tournaments under his belt. He's kind of locked in with some of the youth that have gone in and out of situations because he was dealing with the ozone house and some at-risk youth in the communities that he is, fleeced from. I get it. I get all those things. But where does that make him qualified to be the sheriff of a county this size? Really, where does that make him qualified? And that's where I have a problem with it all. Like, you just don't elevate somebody just because you're elevating somebody. You elevate them because they are qualified. And anybody that has any problem with that, they can always pull up and have a debate on that. I have no problem with that. You don't just put somebody in a space. You don't just put somebody in a space just because you think they've got next. They've got next. No, if they're not qualified, they don't have next. They shouldn't even be considered for next. But this is what they're trying to push off on the county. And I get it, because this is how they play, And he had a bunch of kids. He was out there at the parade yesterday. He had a bunch of kids. He got him a drop top Camaro to drive around in. And I don't know if the car was his or if it was one of his constituents or his supporters. I don't know exactly whose car it was. Didn't matter to me. But he brought that flash yesterday. He brought that flash. He thought he'd get him a nice, sweet white, Camaro. And he was supposed to be there in the eyes of the sheriff's office. And he's not campaigning, right? He was just there representing the sheriff's office. But I saw a whole bunch of Derek Jackson for Sheriff campaign shirts. And that was funny to me, because I saw Alicia Dyer, who is the other candidate, and she was on as Alicia Dyer for sheriff. And you had Ken McGee for sheriff, but you didn't have Derek Jackson for sheriff. He went under the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office mantra. He didn't have his own specific label. And somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, unless he did it in the last minute, because I have the whole itinerary, and the whole itinerary did not have Derek Jackson for sheriff listed. What they did was they used the badge and the shield of the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Department to have him as his float. So right there, I believe that's nepotism. They also placed them right next to Debbie Dingle. I believe that that's nepotism. They did that 2 days in a row. They were next to each other at the Ann Arbor one. Now they're next to each other at the Ypsi one. What type of narrative are you trying to push here? What type of narrative are you trying to push here? It's like Joey Chestnut. He knows how to eat hot dogs, and he is the face of eating hot dogs, and people know his name. But do you want him in charge of the FDA? No, I don't want him in charge of the FDA. I don't want him in charge of any kitchen that I'm going to be a part of. Anything. Yeah, he's gross. I've always thought Joey Chestnut was just one of the grossest individuals ever. And to actually see a female competing in that contest, she's gross too. She's gross too. And if the women who competed in these contests, if they really knew what kind of memes get circulated about them eating hot dogs, they wouldn't do it anymore. Because a woman eating hot dog, we already know what kind of connotation that is. So when you got a woman that's eating a bunch of hot dogs, the memes that are created about these women, they need to stop. They should stop. And hopefully none of them are married. If any of them are married with children, do you really want your kid going to school after knowing that you took third place in a hot dog eating contest? Yeah, you lost to Joey Chestnut and now whatever that other dude's name is, but do you even want to place? Do you even want to be represented as, hey, I was a top finisher in the hot dog eating contest? I mean, let alone dads. I wouldn't want my mom to be known as the mom who could throat 40 hot dogs. I'm just saying, it is what it is. Y'all can think what you want and say what you want, but I wouldn't want my mom to be known as the mom who could throat 40 hot dogs. Sorry. That's just, no. It's not it. Anyways, but that's what's going on. I mean, you've got people that are locked in with this individual for certain reasons. The same way that they've become locked in with him, is the same way I see a lot of people locked in with the other candidate, where people have to learn who Ken McGee is and what he is. That's going to be up to Ken McGee. I mean, he's in here and he knows how I feel about this. Getting out into the public's face. You've got to be talking to people. As long as we don't go back into some type of, lockdown again, he'll have the opportunity, plenty of opportunities to get in front of groups of people and be able to answer questions as well as ask, because there's a lot of things that need to be asked of the people of this county. There's a lot of things that need to be, because the county is ever changing. The county is ever changing. See, what they're doing is they're trying to campaign as if the county is still pre-COVID. But this county is post-COVID, and a lot of things have happened since COVID happened. The county is not the same as it was pre-COVID. It's not the same as it was during COVID. So as a post-COVID county, there's some change, and I have seen the other two candidates not be able to pick up on a lot of things. But I believe, as Brother McGee said, his policies, his things that he's looking to put in place are way more progressive, but they're more fruitful for the Washtenaw County residents. I don't see a lot of stuff get put out here by the other candidates that's going to benefit them and help them, but I'm trying to help the people of the county. And I want to see the people of the county be able to benefit by having good leadership at the WCSO, and not just leadership that they can say, oh, yeah, well, they're only the sheriff. We still have the Ann Arbor chief and the Ypsi chief and the Pittsfield chief and the Saline chief and the Drelsey. No. When you're the top cop of the county, you're the top cop of the county. And the way they've made this seem like it the last several months that I've seen, maybe even several years, is that Jerry may be the top cop in the county, but he really doesn't help the whole county out. What he focuses on a lot is Ann Arbor. He focuses Ann Arbor, and he focuses on Ypsi a lot. And he focuses on Ann Arbor because of the Issa family. The Issa family is deep in Ann Arbor. Hell, they deep in Ypsi business-wise. They deep. So he focuses on the Issa family and other Middle Eastern people and other people from other ethnic groups who are major contributors to his campaign. So I know that's why Jerry focuses on those people. Now, as far as the Ypsi people, he focuses on the Ypsi people because we know that that's where all the crime happens, right? That's where all the crime happens in the county. So that's what we're going to make it seem like. So that's why he focuses on Ypsi. I mean, he is as slick as sandpaper, but a lot of people don't see these things and care about these things because if the crime ain't in people's areas, they don't care. Most people on the west side of Ann Arbor, or hell, even the central part of Ann Arbor, really don't even hear about things that happen in Pittsfield Township, Ypsilanti Township. They don't even hear about it. There's no Ann Arbor News anymore. There's no daily periodical that comes out where it gives you a crime blotter and you can see all the stuff that happens. So most people don't even know about the stuff that happens in Ypsi unless they're watching the news and it's a big enough story for it to hit the news. Or if they want some real truth serum, then they'll read the Ann Arbor Independent. That's all it is. Oh, I think anything's possible, Coco. I think anything is possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, and I don't even know from which area it would come from. I don't know if we'd have C-19 2.0 or if there'd be another type of attack, but I always believe that anything is possible. Hey, once something happens, I'm a believer. I would have never thought the country could have got locked down before. I would have never thought that the country could have got locked down before, but we did. We did. So I definitely believe that it's a possibility that it could happen again. Most definitely. Most definitely. If it can happen once, it can happen again. Donald Trump. If it happened once, it can happen again. Donald Trump. Y'all can't tell me right now that people ain't thinking that Donald Trump is going to get reelected, isn't going to get reelected. People thinking that right now. They know. They know. They know Donald Trump has a really good chance of being reelected. And unless there is another lockdown, I'm not sure if they're not right. I'm just not. I know I'm going to get one of them.
Did you say nigga?
But it is what it is. But it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, if Donald Trump gets to walking down that hall, they're going to be like,
I know that ain't who I think it is.
oh yeah, that's who it is. And all that time, y'all thought it was just in my mind.
In my mind.
But it was not in my mind. It was not in my mind. I put it into the atmosphere, and that's why I'm here today. You know, we're gonna break some shackles, you know. We're gonna break some shackles in the weeks to come, the months to come. We gotta break these shackles. I mean, the seeing people out there yesterday, I think that was a shackle breaking. You know, we hadn't seen the parade, you know, really get back to its full strength, and maybe it's gonna be bigger next year, hopefully. You know, I know a lot of people came out yesterday. I don't know what they found in that time capsule, but I guess it was a time capsule that they opened up. I don't know what was found. I thought it said, I misread it. I thought it was from 1873. And I was like, oh boy, they did a time capsule back in 1873. I'm like, I know ain't gonna be no black stuff in there. But then it was from 1973. And I don't know what's in there anyway. I'd really like to see what Black American artifacts are in there from 1973. I'd like to see that. Hopefully somebody's got that on video and it shows all the stuff that they pulled out of it. I'd like to see that. Appreciate the likes. Appreciate the loves on the video. If y'all coming from the Facebook platform and you have not subscribed to the Villager on Deck on YouTube, what you doing? Why have you not done that? What you waiting for? You know, it's one more social media platform that you're connected to. I get it. But then you know when I'm coming on. You know when the Villager on Deck is on deck. So, but that really, a lot of the stuff that I spoke about, that really talks about the why I do what I do and don't. I can't support people that I know that are just wrong individuals. And I mean, and I'm talking wrong. And some people don't see it on the surface because it's not surface stuff. The stuff is deep. It goes way deeper. That's what I'm saying. And you know what? I don't even know when was Ipsy created? Let me see. Let me look and see when Ipsy was even created. Let me see when Ipsy was created. Was Ipsy created in 1873? When did Ipsy come along? Let's see. Ipsy came along. Oh yeah, Ipsy been around. 1823. See, they could have did it. They could have did a 200-year capsule. In 1823, they could have did a time capsule and opened it up in 2023. But back in 1823, you know, what they gonna put in the time capsule? What they really gonna put in the time capsule in 1823? Okay, what they gonna do? So that was not far-fetched, Frida. 1873 was not far-fetched. They were around here when they were still shackling us up. They need to update their Wikipedia because they still got Lois Richardson as the mayor and Nicole Brown as the pro tem. And as we know, the pro tem really don't do nothing. But even as the mayor, you know, they need to move her up. You know, I'm not gonna say nothing disrespectful today about anybody in the Ypsilanti political sphere. Let's stay away from Ypsilanti politics today. But I'm looked at as a contrarian, and I'm glad I gave myself that name before somebody really put it out there, you know. before somebody really put it out there, you know. I mean, I am a contrarian. I'm not like an Uncle Ruckus contrarian. Even I've been called Uncle Ruckus before. That's some funny shit. I've been called Uncle Ruckus before. But it was funny because I was called Uncle Ruckus before I knew what Uncle Ruckus was. So that was weird to me. I got called Uncle Ruckus, Uncle Ruckus before I even knew what it was. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But being called that, I had to go find out who he was, and I'm like, hey, I'm not that guy. But I am a contrarian. I generally don't go with the popular opinion, because the popular opinion is generally jacked up. We know that. We know the popular opinion is generally jacked up. And when I go with that, I mean, if I'm like Uncle Ruckus, I might as well do this.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No.
And that's not me. That's not me. Who's that, Uncle Ruckus? I'm telling you, I ain't seen one Uncle Ruckus thing that I'd be like, oh, that reminds me of me. I am not that guy. It's so crazy. He's funny though. He's funny. He's really not even a contrarian. He's not a contrarian. He's like just Clarence Thomas animated. Uncle Ruckus is just Clarence Thomas animated. So, and that fool, man, I tell you, I mean, you talking about using your power the wrong way. He using his power the wrong way. I mean, you know, there's some comparisons out there that I don't really need to play into, but we have plenty of people that use their power the wrong way, but Clarence Thomas really used his power the wrong way. No, send it to me. Send it to me. So, but yeah, man, we in here almost an hour and a half already. It's only 1:16. I've got like 3 people that I've got to check out today. And I got to get on this fan base thing. I got this email, and I know it was probably a mass email, but because I've got the account and everything like that, I really got to start looking at other platforms. I've got to start looking at the other platforms. Too many restrictions and too many things are happening on the platforms that I'm currently on. And it's hindering the message. And as we start to build this, dedicated site to stream from, that stuff's going to still have to land somewhere. It's still going to have to land somewhere. So we're going to do that. I got to do that lighting. I don't like when the glare comes off of my glasses like that. So I got to move some stuff around, do some. I mean, it's not like it's messing up the content. I can just see it. And I kind of look like a new wave video. I don't like that. I don't like that shit. I need to get that drop back too. I can't find it, but I had that drop from Belly. I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit at all, but I can't find it. So. But yeah, man, I'm going to continue to be on that opposite side of the coin for a lot of people. But I'm always going to be about my people. So it's not really on the opposite side of the coin. Maybe there's just 2 coins. I don't know. If you're really out here doing some wrong shit, you should understand there's going to be eventually somebody that comes at you. And people like myself, I mean, this is what I do. I go at people who do wrong things. You know what I'm saying? On the road to riches, the diamond rings. Dumb niggas do dumb things. So I be on y'all ass. That was Christopher Wallace. That definitely wasn't mine. That was Christopher Wallace. I don't want to be like Jay-Z, you know. I did that video and I was asking people, did they think it was homage or was it theft? And most people said it was homage. They felt like he was paying homage. You know, some people have said that they thought it was stealing. But that's just Jay-Z's, you know, way of rhyming, you know, and he used Biggie. I think truly he was paying homage to Biggie. I actually think Jay-Z was paying homage to Biggie in all those songs. Because Biggie helped mold his career, you know, as did Big Daddy Kane and other people like that. But I think he was paying homage. I would have loved to have seen Biggie with Jay-Z with Rockefeller instead of Bad Boy. He probably would still be living. Biggie wouldn't have got into all that shit, you know, with the West Coast, with Tupac. And Tupac, I don't think Tupac would have messed with Dame and them. You know, I don't think Tupac would have messed with Dame and them. Dame and them were too deep and knew people that were too deep in the streets. You know, they knew Puffy was fluffy. They knew Puffy was fluffy, and that's why Suge messed with Puffy. But you never saw Suge go at Dame and all them and Rockefeller. Suge went at who he knew he could mess with. But you never saw Suge go at Rockefeller. He knew he couldn't bully Rockefeller. Rockefeller was a little bit too deep. And I'm not talking from the artist perspective, the people who were making records. I'm talking about who was behind them. Rockefeller was a little bit too deep for Suge to be messing with. They'd have brought Marion's blood red derby to the hospital. Yeah. He knew Puffy wasn't deep like that. And Puffy wanted the celebrity status, you know. He wasn't trying to get, gully with it. He was, you know, no. So, but you know, the way I see things in this county politically, I think people need to really start looking at these educational systems. And our public school has its issues. You know, I know I've been on YCS for a minute. And I'm gonna stay on YCS's helmet. You know, they're in a jacked up situation right now. I don't really know how they're gonna get up out this situation. I mean, they owe a bunch of money and they didn't get it cleared or nothing. They gotta keep paying. They gotta keep paying with a crazy nut. It's like $170,000 a month that they gotta pay. It's $2 million a year that they gotta pay because they didn't get some type of clearance for something, man. Having to do with the consolidation of the schools back in 2013. They still dealing with something from back in 2013. And they not gonna get some money allocated to them. So now they know that they in for paying for this $2 million. Like, where they gonna get this money from? They don't have money to pay the people that they got. Now they paying air plus juice. Whatever. What was the other thing? Oh, it was something that I wanted to show. Let me see if I can go to my email here. Oh boy. What was that about? I'm trying to find something that I sent to myself. I need to send it via email. so I could actually get it up on the screen. I could share it. But while I'm looking for this, oh, I definitely need to put this up. Hold on one second. I'm going to put this up, talk about this. This is crazy to me. This is crazy to me. Yeah, make sure you send that to me free. All right, let me find this. While I find this, I'm gonna actually play. I'm gonna play the whatchamacallit. What I did at the beginning. Okay. What I did at the beginning. I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna find this because I believe I can. It's from Pew Research. From Pew Research.
Had a profound meaning on Black American style has always had a profound meaning on white American culture. When they wouldn't allow us to drive, we taught ourselves how to walk in rhythm, and the world still held envy with the dexterity of our feet. When they wouldn't allow us to eat ham or bacon, we boiled chitlins, and it's now become a multi-generational Black American delicacy. When only given the rotten peaches from the harvest, we created peach cobblers. When only left with the scraps from the clothes that we had built, we created quilts to keep our babies warm at night. When they took away our rhythmic drums, we started to clap our hands and stomp our feet. We have proven that the Black American spirit will always prevail. We will always take exactly what we have to make exactly what we need. And that's why we need the confidence in ourselves and the knowledge to understand exactly who we are and who we aren't.
All right, so that was just a little ditty. Wrote a song about it. Like to hear it. Here we go. While I found this. So this was from the Pew Institute, Pew Research, right? Pew Research Center. And it says that more than half of states will recognize. Now, Juneteenth's supposed to be a national holiday. National, what's that mean to you? I mean, to me, national holiday means everybody recognizes it. It's a national holiday. The newest federal holiday, Juneteenth, National Independence Day. I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit at all. Celebrates the end of slavery in the United States. But at the state level, they go with that but. I always get hemmed up with them butts too. I'll say some shit and then I'll be like, but, and they'll be like, no, there's no but, Shannon. But at the state level, governments vary considerably in whether they commemorate it as an official holiday, a day of observance, or something in between. What the fuck? I'm going to read it again and then we'll go. The newest federal holiday, Juneteenth, National Independence Day. This is where they went wrong with it. I'm telling you, they went wrong with it with this bullshit. Okay. Celebrates the end of slavery in the United States. It's the National Independence Day. Celebrating the end of slavery in the United States. That's the nation. That's the whole nation, period. How can it be anything more? How can it be anything less? It's the whole nation. But at the state level, what they doing at the state level. They doing what the fuck they want. Governments vary considerably in whether they commemorate it as a official holiday. Like that shit ain't no holiday. There's some states that say Juneteenth is nothing, even though it's a national Independence Day celebrating the end of slavery. Some states actually say it ain't shit. A day of observance, like, okay, yeah, we'll recognize that shit. We ain't closing none of our shit, but we'll recognize it. So that means they get to talk about it in school. Probably won't close the schools. Schools don't have to be closed on Juneteenth if a state doesn't recognize it. Remember how schools was going to school around here on Martin Luther King Day and people found out about it? People found out about it. And I thought, shit, the school system wasn't too far away either. I think it might have been Dexter. Wasn't Dexter going to school on Martin Luther King Day? And they was like, fuck them. Fuck MLK. They were literally going to school. One of them school systems on the west side of the county, for real, was going to school on MLK Day like it wasn't shit. You know, they friends in the other areas would had a day off and they kids be at school and shit. Hey, you know, we've got, you know, Monday off. You want to go to the mall or something? No, we got school. What do you mean? That's what was going on there. I wonder if they still going to school. Did they make them change it? They might have not made them change it. Maybe you can't change it. Seeing that states vary considerably. What's that mean? Vary considerably. That just mean they doing what the fuck they want. They don't vary considerably. Whether they commemorate it as an official holiday, a day of observance, or something in between. If it falls like near the end of the week, then they make it a long weekend, then they observe it then. They're like, okay, you know, we're going to observe this shit, take a long weekend, we out. I guess that's the something in between. They can celebrate it if they want to, don't really have to celebrate it, you know, do a little something. Maybe they just have Juneteenth sales. Maybe they just have Juneteenth sales. Because there's a lot of states having Juneteenth sales. Yeah. They selling shit cheaper on Juneteenth. The day that they couldn't sell us no more, they're going to just sell their other shit cheaper. I got you. We can't sell you niggas no more, but we're going to sell this merchandise a little bit cheaper. Yep. Lovely day. Lovely day. Lovely day. And then in the next paragraph, this was funny. This was really funny. This year, at least 28 states and the District of Columbia will legally recognize Juneteenth as a public holiday, meaning state government offices are closed and state workers have a paid day off, according to a Pew Research Center analysis of state human resource websites, state legislation, and news articles. Connecticut, Minnesota, Nevada, Tennessee have made Juneteenth a public holiday at the state level starting this year. So Connecticut, Minnesota, Nevada, and Tennessee, they did the do this year. Can you see that? Can you see that there? Can you see that there? I'm trying to tell you, Free, it's this year. Because it might not be next year. They might change the shit back next year. States where Juneteenth is a day off, that's in the orange. States where the Juneteenth is a day off. And then we go through the areas, where a bunch of black people are, states where it's off, let's go. Washington, bunch of white people. Oregon, bunch of white people. Idaho, bunch of white people. Nevada, bunch of white people. Utah, bunch of white people. Colorado, bunch of white people. New Mexico, bunch of white people. Texas, bunch of white people. Louisiana is a bunch of black people, they got it. Mississippi. Mississippi does not recognize Juneteenth. Mississippi. Hey, right next to Louisiana. You know, there's a lot of slaving going on down there. And between Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, Mississippi's a holdout. Mississippi is a holdout. Texas, obviously, but Texas is in. Texas is in. Mississippi out, dog. They said, fuck that. Said, fuck that. Arkansas out. Said, fuck that. Oklahoma's out. Fuck that. Kansas out. They all connected. You see, they all connected? They're connecting states. They're connecting bigotry. They're connecting racism. They connecting. We still hate you niggas. And you go on over, you got Alabama, yes. Georgia, yes. Florida, hell no. Florida ain't recognizing shit. They got Ron the Devil. Free, y'all good down there? Y'all good down there? Nah, Mississippi ain't on it. Mississippi said, we ain't got nothing on your Juneteenth, dog. You took a lot of bread up out of our hands back in the day. We ain't giving y'all shit. You know, people still mad about slavery in Mississippi right now. It's 2023, and you still got some descendants of some 1865ers in play down there, and they still hot. Oh yeah, they hot. They mad about it. You hear about that shit? We can't buy niggers. Yeah. I mean, it's been over since 1865, but still. It's like, what the fuck, man? South Carolina? No. No. What y'all doing down there in South Carolina? A bunch of black folks down there in South Carolina. Jim Clyburn said no. Y'all got the most powerful Democratic Negro outside of Kamala, but she's not a Negro, so I got to stay with Negrodom. I got to stay with Negrodom. And Jim Clyburn is a Negro. Can't deny it. Don't try it. Jim Clyburn is a Negro. He said no to Juneteenth. Look at this. Look at this. North Carolina at least has some state government workers off. And it can be taken as a floating holiday, whatever the fuck that means. I don't know what floating holidays are. We're gonna move it on over here. We're gonna move it over there and take a little bit off here. I'm just gonna take some lunch here. What is that? And then you got Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, Michigan, all connected. All connected. Yes. Pennsylvania puts a big sum in there. And then New York is, boy, Eric Adams. Some old lady came in Eric Adams' helmet and he said, don't be talking to me like I'm on a plantation. Eric Adams starting to feel the heat, dog. He's starting to feel the heat. Yeah, they keep dropping them bodies off on him. I mean, they're alive, you know. He ain't catching dead bodies. He catching alive bodies. And it looks like Maine, Rhode Island, and Connecticut are on the right. Well, Connecticut just got there. They're in the right place. And then there's Maine, Massachusetts. Yeah. But go on back over to the left side. I didn't mention California purposely. I didn't mention California purposely because everybody thinks California is just so peachy keen. So peachy keen. But look at California. Gavin Newsom's only closing up some of the state government working offices. Maybe they taking floating holidays. I'm good because motherfucking know about my mouthpiece. And please, they don't want this smoke. That's one thing I got from absolutely. Like a knife. Like a knife. Yeah, it's always best to keep that clip locked. Because if you have to let it go, it's all over. You don't let it go much, but when you have to let it go, whoo, chicka down, chicka down, chicka down, down. Chicka down, down, down. California is not on lock with Juneteenth. Think about that. California is the only legitimized reparations task force that's actually in the state. And they still ain't recognizing Juneteenth. They still ain't recognizing Juneteenth. Let me see. Yeah. Alaska, you know we ain't gonna get it from there. You know we ain't gonna get it from Hawaii. They mad. They both mad. Because they look at themselves as minorities too. Like, nah, y'all can't be minorities too. But they let them be minorities and then they get a lot of the resources. You know. And of course, up there in the top, Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, you know ain't no black people there. They ain't gonna celebrate Juneteenth. They ain't gonna get a floating holiday. They ain't gonna do a day of observance. They don't give a fuck. Now, South Dakota, and see, that's appropriate. North didn't support it, but the South of Dakota did. You know, the South gonna always represent. The South got something to say. They still gonna call us niggas, but they still got something to say. You got Nebraska. They said, yeah. Iowa said, hell no. Iowa said, hell no. Ain't enough of y'all here. You got some on the football team, and you got some on the basketball team. But outside of that, there's a few of y'all in Davenport. You ever been to Davenport, Iowa? Kind of reminiscent of a Flint. I don't think Davenport got as many people. Well, I don't know what it has now. Uh-oh. Damn. Not digging in there for that shit. One thing I don't do is dig in no ashtray for no weed. I'm too uppity for that. I don't smoke roaches and stuff. I'm like really, really uppity. People are, here, you want to hit this? And see, I don't smoke weed with other people, but if they've been passing something around and it comes around to me, I always say no. But I say no because I don't smoke with people. But they be thinking I be saying no because it's a roach, but I'm saying no because of both. Don't give me your roach. You go ahead and finish that off yourself, bro. You don't need me to do that. I'm not coming in and tasting 4 or 5 people's spit. Where I used to be with smoking joints with people, it's different, but I don't do that no more. You got yours, I got mine. So, when you think about the lack of respect we get on Juneteenth, I'm not sure why people are so surprised. I think they're surprised at who the catalysts were on the affirmative action thing. But when you think about the things that happen with Juneteenth, where it's not taken at all respectfully. I mean, this is not respectful at all, okay? Just over half the states. Just over half the states. Half in the union on a national holiday. How is it a national holiday if the whole nation doesn't observe it? How is it a national holiday? This is where I look at things like differently than other people do. A lot of people say it's a national holiday now. It is. There's a ton of people who don't even recognize it. So I would have to say it's a state holiday. Can't say it's a national holiday because everybody doesn't recognize it, let alone observe it or give it a floating holiday, whatever, seriously. So I'm trying to see more clarity into this affirmative action thing. But then when I look back at this, and I hadn't looked at this other than having to get the dialogue to talk about this stream, particularly between Juneteenth and 4th of July type stuff, I hadn't looked at this. I didn't know what was going on. When I heard it was a national holiday, I heard it was a national holiday. I didn't try to go back and say, well, let's see which states didn't like it. Because when I hear national, I think it's just a national holiday. I think it's over. All the states are involved. Whether you like it or not, you're involved. That obviously isn't the case now, is it? It's a national holiday with just over half the states. And you know what? Let me look at this here. With just over half the states, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4. If you take those 4 states off who are observing it this year, who didn't observe it last year, you had less than half the states. Ain't it 50 states? It's 50 nifty, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. If 28 are in now, take off 4, that's 24. That's less than half. 25 is half. What's up with that? So this situation here is really bad. We just barely had half the states. Now we're supposed to get happy because we got a little bit more than half the states. So this is what they want to feed us as progress. They want to feed us this as progress. We're moving the needle with this. We're moving the needle with Juneteenth. I'm not saying we don't need Juneteenth as a national holiday, but we need Juneteenth and a whole lot more holidays. Nat Turner's birthday needs to be a holiday. Harriet Tubman's birthday needs to be a holiday. Shit. Sojourner Truth, her birthday needs to be a holiday. There's a whole bunch of Caucasians folks that they got as holidays, and we really, Fannie Lou Hamer's birthday needs to be a holiday. National holidays. So we know we ain't gonna get all the states, so give us national, and we can get at least half, right? Half the states on a national holiday. How come they just don't call it half the nation holiday? State to state. Juneteenth is now a state to state holiday. Why call it a national holiday when it is indeed not that? It is indeed not the whole nation. You can if you want to, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. That's not a national holiday. The national holidays that I see, national holidays, should be closed, shut down, not going. Now, the fact that Juneteenth comes after most schools have gotten out for the school year, I wonder if it would be observed as a day off for students. Probably just in the orange areas. White areas you're not getting shit. We're going to school. Well, I thought it was Juneteenth. Fuck Juneteenth. That's the way they're going to look at that. Fuck Juneteenth. Get your ass on the bus. Just saying. Just saying. I can't see some comments. So this is weird. But when you start talking about all of these celebrating and things like that that people do, it's symbolic. And although I commemorated Juneteenth to the fullest, right? To the fullest, I know that most of it is just symbolism to kind of get us to the next thing. Because people that are actually involved in a lot of this stuff, they're only doing it to have the party. Everybody wants to have the party. Everybody loves to party. But man, what happens when that party is over? What happens when that party is over? I'm trying to have people think outside of their norm. I don't think I'm going to say outside of the box. I need people to stay where they need to stay. And if they're already outside the box thinkers, then I want them there. If they're inside the box thinkers, then I need them there. I need them to be as comfortable as they can be. I'm not trying to put anybody in a box, but if a person is in a box and they don't want to come out, that's on them. You know, I ask, are you okay in that box? You want to get out of that box? I'll ask, you know, in theory. But if they want to stay in that box, I'm going to let them stay in that box. The last thing I want to do is pull somebody out of their comfort zone when it really doesn't change anything other than get worse if I pull them out and they're not comfortable. So I know when I need to pull someone out of the box. I know because they're going to be put in danger if they stay in the box. But this is different. This is different. So in understanding that we did not have the nation behind this, in Michigan, what we've got are some events, some parties and concerts and things like that. But politically, we are really no closer to anything because nobody's putting any weight behind this movement. You know, they did no politics at the Juneteenth get-togethers locally. I'm just thinking from a local end. I'm not talking about that stuff they did in Washington, D.C. Method Man went from Spark in the Park to Joe Biden after dark. He went from Spark in the Park to Biden after dark. Method Man. METHOD. Come on, man. You really went and rapped for Joe Biden, dog? Okay. Okay. And I get it, it's a bag. It's a bag. And that's what his job is to do, is to get the bag through rhyme. I get it. But really, dog. So. But man, we just hit 2 hours. That's crazy. And although I feel like we talked a little bit about where I am on things and why I don't go down certain paths, I think I probably could do this all over again and might hit 2 hours again. I'm going to always strive to be for the right. And if I'm not right, it's not because my shit ain't correct. My head, my heart, my spirit is always going to be in the right place. Many people can't say that. And they're not all winning. And even the one who it looks like they're winning, they're not winning either. It's just they have a better facade, better mask. You can get better mask when you're well resourced, when you're juiced in. I don't need to be juiced in. I just need to be for the right things. And I'm going to stay being with the right things, for the right things. Because that's just how I was raised. From a little boy. I know it's over 100 again down in Florida, Free, because it's damn near 100 here. So I know y'all down there cooking. Y'all down there cooking. And yeah, it's 90 here. So I know it's 100 there. Probably 110 there. What y'all about to do, man? What y'all about to do? Whew. Well, whatever y'all about to do, just make sure you be safe and you stay hydrated. I don't want no calls unless you calling talking about you home or you coming home. I don't want no emergency calls. We get on up out of here. Y'all be good. I'll holler at you.
Black American style has always had a profound meaning on white American culture. When they wouldn't allow us to drive.
Huh? Knock that down.
Black American style has always had a profound meaning on white American culture.
One love.
When they wouldn't allow us to drive, we taught ourselves how to walk in rhythm, and the world still held envy with the dexterity of our feet. When they wouldn't allow us to eat ham or bacon, we boiled chitlins, and it's now become a multi-generational Black American delicacy. When only given the rotten peaches from the harvest, we created peach cobblers. When only left with the scraps from the clothes that we had built, we created quilts to keep our babies warm at night. When they took away our rhythmic drums, we started to clap our hands and stomp our feet. We have proven that the Black American spirit will always prevail. We will always take exactly what we have to make exactly what we need. And that's why we need the confidence in ourselves and the knowledge to understand exactly who we are and who we aren't.
You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First, you tell us that it is manly to keep your word, right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all of the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well, then show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well, then stick to your word and let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man. You're a bird. You're afraid of us. You're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will